Hi, my name's Brandon Johnson. Happy to be talking to you today. Thanks to the Jones House for asking me to spend a little bit of time with you. I want to talk to you about a technique and a little bit of theory in regards to playing the mandolin. The technique I want to talk about is tremolo. You hear it a lot of places, but it's kind of a hard thing to do, especially when you're learning. And it's kind of the mandolin's answer to the fiddle bow. It's how we can make a note go from this to this. So it allows us to extend our notes and help fill a bigger sonic space within an ensemble or a particular tune or song. A couple general rules you want to think about: being loose, as always, with your wrist and arm. With the tremolo, a lot of times you'll see people include bigger muscles like your forearms to have a little bit less wrist movement. That's a good way to kind of help your movement stay crisp and small. You want to think about your pick angle. So you want your pick to come in like this. And that's a little bit exaggerated, but the pick slides across the strings a little better like that, as opposed to this. Sometimes it's better to use a little bit blunter pick, so a rounder pick instead of a point. And sometimes a thicker pick is helpful as well. So you can experiment with that and figure out what works best for you. So the way I really kind of start thinking about practicing is the way I start thinking about practicing a mandolin in general, is I'll just set a metronome, something like dap, 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 dap. And I'll just work down the strings, be nice and loose. Make sure you're getting through the pairs of strings, getting a nice full clear tone. And you can also come back up. Then you can add eighth notes. So it's good to start that really slow anytime you pick up a mandolin. It helps get your right hand loosened up. But what you're going to do for as you practice and build your tremolo is just speed that up. So a really good exercise is to start really slow with eighth notes and then speed them up until you get that good tremolo sound you want. So you can go like... And then you can slow it back down. That was a little quick there. But taking that from slow to fast and moving back and forth is a really good exercise. And then you can think about doing it with two strings as well, which we'll do. I want to kind of talk about this technique in theory and then move that into a tune the next time around. And we'll talk about the Shokin Farewell, which is in the key of D. So I'll use the key of D with its scale and its chords to kind of illustrate this theory piece for you. So the key of D, if you start on the D string, is open 2 4 5, open 2 4 5. Move up to the A string. So if you want to extend that, you can also start here on this D note. So another good exercise is to figure out where your Ds are on the mandolin and learn your scales there. But when you do that, you can give each note a number: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you come back to 1, or the root. And so the 1, 3, and the 5 are how you make up major chords. That's called the arpeggio. You can add the 1 on the top there. So for the key of D, you have D, F sharp, and A. Anytime you play any two of those notes together, you can technically say you're playing a D chord. That's how fiddles a lot of times play chords, is they'll play those two notes of a chord together to help get that sound there, that harmony. So anytime you have a D chord, you can play two of those notes together to make that chord. And so that's really good if you're accompanying a singer, a song, or you're just kind of filling up a tune like a Shokin Farewell. It's good to know those options. So if you have your basic D chord right here, you have an A, a D, an A, and an F sharp. So you have a chord right there with those two notes, the A and the D, a chord right there with the D and the A, and a chord right here with the A and the F sharp. So you can tremolo over any two of those together. So another D chord is to go to the D note right here, the F sharp on the D and the A. And then also if you have your D right here, you can go to the F sharp, 2nd fret on the E string. Or you can also come right here and play the D and the A there, D and the A there. You have your kind of D chop chord right here. That's a D, F sharp, D. So it's good to know those. You know those patterns and your scales, you can transpose those to any key, any chord, and work those throughout places where that could be helpful. So thinking about some of those double stops. And another way I should mention drones. So if you play the open D string and the D note here, you're droning those two notes. That's the same note in two different places. And you can do that also with the A, 7th fret on the D string, and the open A. You can do it on the G right here. So that's another thing we'll use, definitely. So we'll come to you now with the Shokin Farewell here in part 2.